Imagine spending your entire life chasing the major leagues. You finally get the call. You run onto the field wearing a New York Giants uniform. Then, the game ends before you ever get to bat. 2 defensive innings, 0 at-bats, a lifetime of what if. This is the incredible true story of Moonlight Graham. Archibald Graham was born in North Carolina in 1877. Like thousands of young players at the turn of the century, he dreamed of reaching the major leagues. But Archie was different. He was balancing two worlds, playing high-level college baseball while simultaneously studying medicine. He was incredibly talented, good enough to attract the attention of the legendary New York Giants. On June 29, 1905, his lifelong dream finally came true. At 27 years old, he finally stepped onto a major league field. The Giants were beating the Brooklyn Superbas easily. Late in the game, in the bottom of the 8th inning, manager John McGraw signaled to the bench. He sent Graham into right field as a defensive replacement. Finally, he was a major leaguer. He stood on the grass watching the game he loved from the ultimate stage, but baseball can be cruel. In the top of the 9th, the Giants were rallying. Graham walked up to the on-deck circle. He was next in line, waiting, watching. He just needed one more batter to reach base, but the final out was made. That half of the inning was over. He went back out to right field for the bottom of the 9th, and the game ended. He never got to hit. A few days later, without making another appearance, Graham was sent back down to the minor leagues. He would never play another major league game. His final MLB stat line looked almost impossible. 1 game, 2 defensive innings, 0 at-bats, 0 hits, 0 chances in the field. He didn't even get a ball hit his way. He was officially a major leaguer. Yet he left the game with absolutely no statistics. Most players would never recover from losing their dream so quickly. The what-ifs would haunt them forever, but Graham chose a different path. He hung up his spikes and became a full-time doctor, eventually settling down in the small mining town of Kishom, Minnesota. For decades, he treated families, cared for children, and became one of the town's most beloved and respected citizens. When a deadly typhoid epidemic struck Kishom in 1910, Dr. Graham's relentless medical work helped save countless lives. To the people of Kishom, he wasn't remembered as a baseball player. He was simply remembered as Dr. Graham. For over half a century, almost nobody outside of Kishom knew about his brief baseball career. Then, an author named W.P. Kinsella found his name while flipping through a massive baseball encyclopedia. He saw a player who reached the major leagues but had a blank space next to his at-bats. That tiny, lonely statistic inspired Kinsella to write the masterpiece novel Shoeless Joe. Years later, that book was adapted into one of the greatest movies ever made, Field of Dreams. Suddenly, the forgotten ballplayer had become immortal. Moonlight Graham never got his major league at-bat, but maybe that isn't what made him special. Baseball gave him 2 innings. Medicine gave him a lifetime. More than a century later, we don't remember him because of a legendary home run or a World Series ring. We remember him because sometimes the greatest legacy isn't built on a baseball field. It's built in the lives you touch off of it.